At a time when so many people in our country are giving up on the political process, when turnout is so low, when public consciousness about government is not high, I would like to see us be debating all over this country. I'd like to see the DNC have more debates.
Democratic presidential candidate and self-described socialist Bernie Sanders on CBS News Face the Nation last Sunday, calling for more debates as he surges ahead of longtime frontrunner Hillary Clinton, at least in New Hampshire. Here's the new poll. Check it out. From March, where Hillary was way ahead, to the latest poll this month with Bernie Sanders at 44% and Mrs. Clinton at 37%. Meantime, on the Republican side, take a look at the new CNN Iowa poll. Carly Fiorina's strong performance in the Tier 2 debate last week has vaulted her into the top tier of candidates. She checks in at 7%, and again leading the pack, it's Donald Trump at 22%. I think there are a few numbers to discuss, and let's bring in the panel to do so. From Newsmax New York, Rick Ungar, senior political contributor for Forbes.com and co-host of the Daily Wrap here on Newsmax TV. And from Newsmax Washington, noted Republican strategist Ford O'Connell. So, Rick, Bernie Sanders leading in New Hampshire. The whole email deal for Hillary taking her down?
Oh, it's a fascinating poll. I think we got to see a few more because it at this point falls under the heading of outlier, but outliers are usually telling of what's to come. Do have to keep a few things in mind. For one thing, that's very friendly territory for Bernie Sanders. He's from right next door in Vermont. He could even have a shot, I think, in Iowa, which would really put Clinton on her heels. But it then starts to get very hard for Sanders as you move down south.
Ford, usually you're analyzing what Republicans need to do. What is your take on what's happening in that Democrat race?
Well, the media may not choose to focus on it, but believe it or not, there's actually a debate among Democrats between the establishment wing of the party and the grassroots, and Bernie is now the darling of the grassroots. What he's done here is corralled Elizabeth Warren's votes. She was in the previous poll. She's not in it now. That's 22 points of his 36-point gain. The rest of it is a lack of enthusiasm for Hillary Clinton because of her continued self-inflicted wounds. Basically, she's dropped 10 points because she can't get out of her own way, and the email scandal is starting to hurt her.
All right, to that new...
Yeah, I got to agree with that. I have to agree.
Well, it's good to see such a note of unanimity. Now we'll see if we can mix it up a little bit. Turning to the Republican field, and the poll released this afternoon from CNN. Trump is still in the lead, but here comes Carly, although Ben Carson, Scott Walker, and Ted Cruz are between Mr. Trump and Ms. Fiorina. Will we see the rise of Carly in Iowa, Ford?
Well, debates matter, and unfortunately, political commentators have an outsized opinion with respect to people's opinion. Let me say this, 47% of Republicans did not know who Carly Fiorina was. And going into the first debate, she was 101 chance of actually winning the nomination. Now she's 50-1. Here's the deal for Carly Fiorina. She has to continue to build on this if she wants to make a credible case for the nomination. I think she needs to be in the conversation, but only time will tell whether or not she can deliver.
Rick, you have never paused from heaping scorn on the Trump candidacy, and yet Donald Trump continues to lead. Now, there has to be something to his support and not denigrating those who are listening to his argument. Your best take on the Trump phenomenon.
I don't denigrate anybody who feels that way. That's sort of not how I do it. I do think that they're still voting their anger and displeasure. I think at some point that probably changes when they've made their point, but we'll see. In the meantime, there's no taking away how well he's doing. What I find incredibly fascinating about this poll, yes, Carly did better. That's to be expected. She was the big winner of the debate night. But the fact that Ben Carson is now in second place and Scott Walker has dropped to third after it appeared even this early in the game he had Iowa sewn up, I think that's remarkable. But I think I'm much happier seeing Trump in first than Walker, because you know how you think I keep scoring on Mr. Trump. You've heard me talk about Scott Walker.
Yeah, well, let's the final 45 seconds forward to you. Basically, Rick set up the question. What about Ben, the rise of Dr. Ben Carson?
Well, Dr. Ben Carson is someone who's seen as very principled by Republican primary voters. Herein lies his problem. He has no experience. And unfortunately, one of the big things for Republicans is, do you have that right type of experience, which usually comes from leading a company or being a governor? The thing with Dr. Carson is he's going to have to continue to push forward and find a way to actually increase his support, which, while he's a very durable candidate, I'm still not sold that he's going to be in the final 3 or 4 for the nomination.
And we will have to leave it there, gentlemen. You have our thanks. Now, the cap that Donald Trump has been wearing on the campaign trail and at his campaign stops, you know, the cap that has the slogan, "Make America Great Again." Well, it's become a sensation. In fact, sales of this cap are off the charts, but you can get your very own Make America Great Again cap, a $25 value, free with this offer. All you have to do is pay shipping and handling. Go to newsmax.com/Trump cap or call 1-800-485-4350.